So today we will start the next chapter. The name of the chapter is Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and this is the chapter number 6 of your book. So let's start, because we have already discussed about the inheritance of characters in the previous chapter, and we studied that some factor or allele is there which helps to transfer the traits to their progeny. So here in this we will talk about the DNA. Now the DNA is it's a genetic material which is inherited from the parents to their offsprings. So the Mendel said that it was a factor or allele, but later on it was studied and found that over the hundred of years the DNA is the actual genetic material. So with the help of this we can study the genetic information, how it is inherited and how it is inherited to the next generation. So DNA is a genetic material. Along with this, RNA is also a genetic material, and RNA is found in the virus. As you all know about the coronavirus nowadays, and it causing a disease. We don't have any research on it, and the fact is that coronavirus arises from the Wuhan city of China, and it is a kind of SARS, severe respiratory symptom is there, and we don't have any vaccination and medicine of that treatments, and it is very communicable disease as compared to the previous. So RNA is also genetic material in some of the viruses, but mostly the RNA work as a messenger RNA, adapter, structural and the catalytic molecules. So messenger RNA, how the DNA is converted into RNA and how the protein synthesis is formed, how it is adapted, the codes and the structural coding, and then the catalyze the molecules. So DNA is a replication. In the DNA we will study the replication, copying of the DNA is formed, and the process of making RNA from the DNA. In this we will study how the DNA forms a copy of RNA, that is known as the transcription, and the genetic code, how it is take place and the coding is take place, and the formation of sequences. So this is the following steps, how the genetic information from the parents is transferred to the progeny. So there is a process. First is the transcription, in which the DNA is converted into RNA, and then the genetic information, and that genetic information is in the form of nucleotides is changed in the form of sequence of amino acid, and the process of protein synthesis, and how these sequences are changed and the process of protein synthesis is formed. So how this amino acid is converted into the protein formation, that is known as the translation. So we will determine and the complete nucleotide sequences in the human genome. So further, this DNA and the RNA, that is in genetic information, it helps to identify the sequence of the genomes in the human body to diagnose any disease, or we can easily do the DNA fingerprintings. So let's start the first topic, that is in DNA. So DNA is actually a polymer of deoxyribonucleotides. So it's a long chain, you can say it's a long chain of deoxyribonucleotides. So it's a polymer. Okay, so now what's the length of the DNA? That means if we see the length of the DNA, it's too big, and it is wind up and forms a long chain, and its length in millions. So there is a number of nucleotides, that means the base pairs which forms the nucleotides. So these are the nucleotides, okay, and the pair of nucleotides as a base pair. So length of the DNA in the different organisms have a different numbers of nucleotides, maybe the number of nucleotide, or maybe it is represented in the form of pairs. So first example is the bacteriophage 5. As you know, bacteriophage means the virus which infect the bacteria, and its 5174 has a 5306 nucleotides. So this is a number, 5386 is the number of nucleotides. But on the other hand, the bacteriophage lambda having a 48,502 base pairs. That means it is the counting of base pairs, because the number of base pairs are too much, so it is calculated in the pairs. So similarly, the Escherichia coli, if we calculate the base pairs, we find that 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 base pair is the measurement. That means that is the base pair in the Escherichia coli. And it's a kind of plasmid, and the haploid human DNA, because we have a double helical structure of DNA, so if we see the single structure of DNA of a human genome, it's measured as 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs. So these are the number of base pairs. It is in the, because the number is too much, so it is appeared in the form of base pairs. Now next move on to the structure of this polynucleotide chain. As we know, this is all this DNA and RNA is a nucleic acid, and this nucleic acid is the polymer of nucleotides. Okay, so here the structure of, first we will study the structure of polynucleotide chains. So it is made up of three components. The first one is the nitrogenous base, second is the pentose sugar, and third one is the phosphate group. So let's move on. What is nitrogenous base? So nitrogenous bases are two types. One is purine, second is pyrimidine. So purine having a two, adenine and guanine. It is of two types, adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine are of three types, uracil, cytosine and thymine. And cytosine is common for both RNA and DNA, and we can make a group of this. A is bonded with thymine, cytosine is bonded with guanine. Okay, so A is bounded with the T, this is a hydrogen bond between them, this is a two double bond, and here is a three double bond, it forms a C3G. Okay, so this is for the, this structure is for only the DNA. If we talk about the RNA, it remains the same, but instead of T, there will be the uracil. Okay, so nitrogenous base, when this nitrogenous base is linked with the pentose sugar. That means we know that pentose sugar is ribose, deoxyribose sugar and ribose sugar in RNA. So deoxyribose sugar is present in the DNA. So when this pentose sugar is linked with nitrogenous base, that means adenine to thymine and cytosine to guanine, with the bond of N-glycosidic linkage, it forms the nucleoside. Is it clear? That means whenever the nitrogenous base bind with the pentose sugar with the glycosidic bond is known as nucleoside. So it is known as, if it is found nitrogenous base is linked with pentose sugar with the adenine, it forms the adenosine, or you can say deoxyadenosine. If nitrogenous sugar is guanine, it says as guanosine or deoxyguanosine. Okay, so similarly the difference, purine and pyrimidines when linked, nitrogenous base is linked with the pentose sugar, it forms a nucleoside. Now when this nucleoside is linked with the phosphate group, and this phosphate group is at the OH 5' end of nucleoside, it forms a nucleotide. So that is in nucleotides. That means when nucleoside is connected with the phosphate group, and that phosphate group is always located at the OH 5' end of the nucleoside, it forms a nucleotide. So it is linked by the phosphodiester bond. Is it clear? So this forming the nucleotides, that means this phosphate group is bind with the nucleoside with the bond known as the phosphodiester bond, and it was always linked with the 3' to 5' end or 5' to 3' end. Now the polymer, the free phosphate is at 5' end, and at the other end forms a 3' end. That means when we see a double helical structure, there will be the 5' and 3', and it is always a anti-parallel, like 3' to 5'. So similarly, when we see the structure, suppose this is a pentose sugar, here is the adenine nitrogenous base is connected, and from here there is a phosphate group. So we say that position 1, 2, 3, at the 3 point there is an adenine, and at the 5th position there is a phosphate group is there. Okay, similarly we can see here the next phosphate group is linked here, and there is 1, 2, 3, third there will be the adenine. Adenine is linked with the thymine. So similarly this chain goes on, and there one end is 5' end is the phosphate group remain the free, and other end free as the 3' group. Okay, so one side is 5' OH and second side is the 3' OH group, and it forms a, now how it is connected is connected with the backbone of chain, and that backbone of chain is called the nitrogenous base, and the backbone is formed by the sugar. Now next, in addition to this is the structure of RNA. But when we talk to DNA, but that is the structure of DNA, and the RNA is additional OH group at second position. So here we will find that 1, 2, 3. Here also we get one additional OH group in RNA. It is in a RNA. Okay, so it at the second position, uracil at the thymine. Now next is DNA. Actually the DNA is in acidic in nature and it is present in the nucleus. So first it was found by or discovered by in 1869 by the Frederick Mescher, and he called that name as a nuclein, and he found it in the nucleus. Later on in the 1953, the James Watson and Francis Crick, who is well known about to know or find out the double helical structure of a DNA. So in 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick, with the help of Morris Wilkinson and Rosalind Franklin, who did the X-ray diffraction and produced this long chain of DNA and elucidate that, and they forms a double helical structure of DNA. Okay, so we know about the James Watson and Francis Crick is well known about to find out the double helical structure of DNA. Next, that he found that in the double helical structure of DNA, when the adenine is always bounded with the hydrogen bond with the thymine, and this cytosine is bounded with the 3 hydrogen bonds with the guanine, that number is always remain similar. It always remain constant and equal, and it was given by the Erwin Chargaff. That means the double helical structure of DNA having the equal numbers of adenine equal to the thymine, which is equal to the cytosine equal to the guanine. That means the number of AT is equal to the CG. That means if 20 is the adenine, that means 20 is the CG group. So it is known as the, it was told by the Erwin Chargaff about the number of nitrogen base pairs of AT is equal to the CG. So this is all about the first topic of the DNA. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.